This is ICAST News live and direct from UN Women. Today we have the Chief Executive for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and her name is
Calliope Mikiru.
Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your precious time. So we would like to talk about the historical event that took place yesterday at the Trusteeship Chamber at the United Nations. So we would like to know from you that what inspired the UN Women and your partners to organize this event.
Thank you very much, first of all, for finding the time to come and listen from us and from having participated in our event yesterday.
You're welcome.
Just to remind your audience that the UN theme for the 16 days this year is hashtag Hear Me Too. And the Hear Me Too theme for the 16 days, which was also the theme of our event yesterday, it is how can we really build on the global movements of Me Too, for example, Ni Una Menos in Latin America, and other global movements where they really got survivors' voices together and to shift the focus from from the fact that survivors cannot be heard, survivors cannot be believed, that they managed to demonstrate the extent of the issue, and there are so many more survivors that their voices cannot be heard. They don't have access to these platforms. So the hashtag Hear Me Too, which was the theme of the event yesterday, it was exactly to demonstrate that UN Women, and globally, much more than UN Women, we stand in solidarity with all survivors from all walks of life, from all countries, but especially in solidarity with survivors that their voices haven't been heard through global movements like Me Too or Ni Una Menos.
And also, this year in March, I was attending the UN International Women's Day,
Yes.
and it had the hashtag Time Is Up, which
Yes,
signifies that this is it. This is the end for the time for violence against women. So that's one of the other hashtags in the line.
exactly. So as you saw yesterday, we structured the event in two parts. One part they had to do with law enforcement officials, and particularly the New York Police Department, which is one of the local law enforcement agencies, and that's why it was easier to have access to them and to bring them over, because we really wanted to demonstrate in a campaign of hashtag Hear Me Too, and having all these survivors of whose the voices we really need to hear, and we need to find solutions for them to address their problems. How can we involve and engage all sectors of services to listen to survivors and to serve their needs? And the law enforcement sector plays a very important role in this process, because you may know already that one of the most serious problems we have when we deal with cases of survivors is, first of all, they do not report.
True.
And they do not report because stigma really follows them wherever they go. They don't trust the authorities to report their trauma and their incident, and very often we don't have any solid follow-up to the incidents that they are reporting. So law enforcement officials, they really need to be trained and to be able to make sure that survivors are confident to share their experience with them. And we know from evidence so far from around the world that one of the good practices to make survivors feel comfortable to share their experience with law enforcement officials is by increasing the presence of female police officers in the police forces. And that's why probably you've seen yesterday that we had 150 female police officers there.
And I really love the fact that's how every panelist like after one and the other, they recognized them. They asked them to stand up and let the audience know that they are present there,
Yes.
and everyone applauded them. So that was, you can say, very motivating even for them to even work harder in future with the collaboration for this UN women movement, I believe. So one of the interesting things, as you mentioned, was that this event tried to convey that how the people who have faced violence, especially women, they shouldn't be called victims. They should be called survivors, because they symbolize the amount of strength that they have survived that atrocity, and now they're ready to speak about it. Because as you mentioned, that many women, because of the pressure through their family or to their spouse, they are not ready to speak out because they're afraid, what if they let the word out, what if it would in the long run affect them, or what if, you know, some people, they might split apart from their family or for their life partner. So I believe that building up the level of trust is very important, that their information would be kept safe and they would be actually helped. So, well, with that note, we will bring this discussion to an end. I would like to thank you so much for giving us your precious time, and we look forward to discussing more such issues, and we look forward to see what the UN and the civil society does in order to collaborate for such movements to help the women in order to attain gender equality. This is Rabia Khalid signing off from ICAST News. Hope to see you soon next time.